In the schoolroom here, I have moved all of my crafty stuff out of this bookshelf and put it in that bookshelf. This shelf over here, there's our sewing machines are all on the top of there, my serger. I've got all my fabric and my yarn over there, and I'm going to do this as my crafty bookshelf. So I've got a few empty squares down there in the bottom. I'm not quite sure yet what I will put there. My bookshelves over here, I may actually end up taking some of these out and putting them over there. Some of these just have some craft things in them that could go on that shelf. And then I've got books on my top shelves. These books are the kids' completed books from last year. Their binders are hymnals. These are books that we plan to use this year for school. The girls are doing this General Science 1 in co-op, so I've got 2 sets of books for that, and I think actually Crispin is going to do that as well, so they're going to have to share these 2 sets of books because I don't think I'm going to buy another set. Logic we're going to do, so these are books we're using. These are books I had intended on using this year as a lot of our history, but that may change. I haven't quite decided yet. I know Kyla will be doing World Story, I think. I still haven't decided on that yet either. I'm waiting for a couple more books to come in, but anyway, these are the kids' school boxes here that will have their independent work in them, and then these are all toys down at the bottom. But I was listening to a podcast. They were talking about decision fatigue. That's literally my life right now. I've got so much stuff, so many books I want to read the kids, so many things we want to do, kids different ages and stages doing different things, and so keeping all of that organized and together has been difficult this year for me for some reason. So I'm trying to minimize and organize what I have here to hopefully make that a little more simple on my brain. Once I get it all organized and figured out, then it'll be better. But I still have some things to hang on the wall. I did take down all of our posters from last year. We had our timeline. I took that all down. So I've got a couple maps I want to get hung back up. I may not do the US map, probably just the world map. A bigger whiteboard that I got so that I have that. But anyway, there just needs to be some work in here before school starts, so I'm trying to get that finished up because we've only got a couple weeks left before we're going to start school.
Who am I that the maker of heaven would love me and know me by name? In a world where I feel like a stranger, his love came and found me the same. In each breath that
I have got a file folder thing that I am keeping my kids' worksheets organized in this year. I'm just not really sure where to put it. I know it doesn't fit in any of my empty cubbies, and I think it's too big. I may go get it. Okay, so this is what I was using to organize my kids' school in. I printed off their books, and then I put them in here by book, and then they're stapled by weeks. So this is Coulter's history, Crispin's history, tests for their history, Kyla's geography, Cadence's geography, elementary science, language lessons 7, language lessons 5, math, or language lessons 3, math 1, phonics, and that's all I've got so far in there. But what will happen is the kids will take their packet for the most part. I did do this a bit different for my older boys. The older boys have a binder or a little folder like this. It's got 4 weeks worth of work in here along with their schedule. When they complete a week, they'll turn it in to me and then go on to the next one. They can refill these from this folder system whenever they need to. The other kids will just take out 1 week at a time, and we'll work on that 1 week. And then when they complete it, we will get out a new one. So I've got to figure out a spot to put this that is not too high. I'm thinking maybe I'll move my games here, up here on the top of this shelf instead of that one. That way I can put my papers over there because they will be easier to get to. Would be really nice if it would fit in one of these little shelves, but I'm pretty sure it's too wide. I think I've already attempted that before. So anyway, that's what I'm working on.
When I wake or I sleep, everything I need is found in you. All in you. Everything I need is found in you. Found in you, Jesus. What is love that the God of the heavens would stoop down to love me with grace? In the midst of my pride and rebellion, his love wouldn't give up the chase. In each breath that I breathe, when I wake or I sleep, everything I need is found in you. All in you. Everything I need is found in you. Found in you, Jesus. Everything I need is found in you. All in you. Everything I need is found in you. Found in you, Jesus. When I'm lost, when I'm scared, everywhere you are there. Everything that I need is made in you complete. Everything I need is found in you.
This is a basket of books that I put together at the end of last school year as I was organizing and going through books. These are books that we have not read yet, or ones that I just didn't know what to do with. And I didn't want to get rid of them. So I've got quite a few picture books. All of these are picture books that we haven't read yet. These are World Religions and Cults. This is a Master Books curriculum. I know my son will not read this, but this might be something eventually one of my other kids will want to read. My oldest daughter read it. I may want to read it at some point, and so I didn't want to get rid of them. I'm going to find a spot for them over there. I've got Teacher Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, and then a few fun school journals that are only half completed. This is my mom's school journal. So I'm going to find a spot for these to go because I don't want to get rid of them. Then I've got a couple of, these are also mine. They're like half filled out. I used them. I just, you know, they're not that full, so they really could be used again, but I don't know if I ever will. So they're just sitting here for now. I may end up just tossing them in the trash can. I hate to throw away such, it's only 50 cents. Probably only 25 cents when I bought these because they're that old. Anyway, I'm going to find a place for these books so that we can read through them. I would like to get through these books. I need a cubby hole for books we haven't read yet so we can make sure to get through those. And then on top of these books, I do also have 2 or 3 boxes of books downstairs in my basement. Things that I thought I would sell and haven't sold, or now I'm reconsidering selling. I've also got a few stacks of books over there on the other side of the table from me. A couple of those I will sell. Some of the other ones I may just end up keeping, but I have a really hard time committing to an entire year of something. I really want to just be able to study what we want and switch my mind and not feel guilty about that. So I might end up keeping some of these books, and some of these books are good. This is like my Father's World curriculum that I used when my oldest daughter was younger and all my other kids were younger, that we haven't used for a long time. And I don't have the teacher's guide for it anymore, but I do have some of the books, and I wouldn't want the teacher's guide anyway, except for the history portion or geography portion. So we may just look through some of those, but I'm going to put these things away. I'm waiting on my last set of books to come in, and then I'm going to finalize the rest of our school year, finish printing off the rest. I could go work on that. I do know some of the teacher's guides I need to do for my older kids still. But once I get everything finalized, then I'll be able to put the right books in the right cubbies so I know what to use. And I'm just kind of in a waiting period for that because I've got a few more books coming in the mail. They've shipped. They should be here hopefully this week. and then I can get that all organized. I'm done in here for now. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. I've got some things that need to go downstairs, but I'm gonna have the boys do that when they get home. And now I'm gonna come in and work in my office. It is a mess. A lot of it is crochet things that just need put away, but I'm gonna work on that next. I'm hoping maybe I can make an area in here that our 3D printer can be. The neighbor gave the kids a 3D printer and we have yet to use it because I don't know how. But there's a couple at church and I was asking them about it because they're always making things with their 3D printer. And so she said, take a picture of it and send it to me. So I did that, and it turns out that it is the same 3D printer that they own. So they know exactly how to use it. They know exactly the right stuff to buy for it. And so we are going to get some lessons on this 3D printer, and that way we're able to use it and have it work correctly without any trouble. But that's not going to happen right this minute, so I'm going to go ahead and try to clean up my area over here and get things organized and put together. It feels like I've been doing this forever. I feel like this is what I do all the time. I'm always organizing and putting things away. I know that comes when you have too much stuff. I also know there are 9 people in this house and we homeschool, and my husband is home most of the time, works from home, studies from home. I have my business things. I have my craft things. The kids have craft things. So there's a lot of stuff, and it's not the biggest house in the world. So it does take some organization and some revamping every once in a while. I kind of feel like that's what I'm doing right now, is just revamping things, trying to figure out where things fit best, how things work best. So I'm going to continue that. Hopefully I get to the end of it and get this area cleaned up today so I can just be done messing with it and not have to worry about it anymore. I don't know if I ever showed you guys these, but I thought I would show you really quick my little book haul that I got while we were in Branson on our trip. I love to go to all the little flea markets that they have there. They have all sorts of little flea markets with booths galore of things, lots of things. And I found some old books. That's what I mainly look for whenever I go there, or even just books that we like reading, but a lot of old books because I can get them for a cheap price, at least what I think is cheap and worth it. And I love them. I love old books. So I got some. I picked up a few. This one is not old, but it's one that we didn't have yet. It's The Adventures of Peter Cottontail by Thornton Burgess. So we love these books. The kids love them. They're really fun. Another one is this Easy Grammar Made, or English Grammar Made Easy. This book was $5, and it's even one I could continue to use today. It probably would be excellent to use today, actually. It was copyrighted in 1914, and I believe that, I haven't read like the preface or anything of it, but I think you can just do this on its own. I don't think it had a workbook or anything that went with it. So just a real simple lessons, English grammar. Probably would be more like middle school or high school age kids using this. Another one that I actually wasn't going to get this one, and then I flipped to the front pages of it, and it's really special because it is Bob's Merrill Primer. It's a cute little squirrel on the front of there. So I was looking at it, I flipped it to the front page, and this first part here, it says Devon Pershing, Lyman, Colorado. Now, I was in Branson, Missouri when I got this book. I grew up about 30 miles from Lyman, Colorado. So I thought that was fun. I was like, okay, well, now I feel like I need to get it. And then I continued to read. So the date of this book is 1929 is when it was copyrighted. 1923 and then 1929. So on the front here, there are a couple of messages. The first one says Devon 1936, and it says Devon learned to read from this book in 1936, beginning when he was 2 years and 8 months old. Danny learned to read from this book too, beginning when he was 2 years, 10 months old in 1946. So I thought that was really special, really fun to have someone's personal story written in front of this book, and that they actually use this book to learn to read. So there's lots of little scribbles in it. Obviously, I mean, these boys were 2 years old when they started learning to read from this book, which shows how far away we've come from what education used to be, but also probably the way they were learning to read was their mom was sitting with them and reading the stories out of this book, and they were learning that way. So it's got the Pledge of Allegiance in there, and then it's got some really simple stories. Now I did read a bit of the front, the introduction and how to use this book. This one had another book that went along with it, and I looked for it, but it wasn't there. So it had another kind of like a workbook that had different parts of stories in it that went along with this to help them learn to read. But this is just some really simple reading, and we probably won't use this in our homeschool. I'll just stick it on the shelf for decoration because I just love the old books. So there's that one. The last one I almost didn't get. It was listed for $40 or priced at $40. It was 33% off, and I stood there looking at it for a long time. So this is Spurgeon's Episodes and Anecdotes with Personal Reminiscence. Okay, so it's worn. This is the oldest one that I found. 1892 is when it was printed. And I opened it up, started looking through it. It's got some names. This one's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's got a few people's names in the front of here. And then on the front page, it's got a picture of Charles Spurgeon, which is really fun. Episodes and Anecdotes of His Busy Life, it says. So it's got a lot of info in here about Spurgeon. And this one actually I may read. It probably is super interesting. And it says the Pastor's College. It's got some pictures and drawings in there. And so I just thought it would be really fun. I was talking with my husband, like, I don't want to spend $40 on this book. It's just a book. It's kind of, I feel like it's kind of silly to spend $40 on this old worn book that's literally falling apart. But it was on sale. I think I ended up paying $26 for it. And he said, you probably will never ever find another book like that in your entire life. And that was when I was like, you're right, and I really like it, so I'm going to get it. So these things bring me joy. I love these old books. I just think they're really fun. So I'm going to add them to my old book collection that I have on my shelf, but I thought you guys would want to see my fun treasures that I found when we were in Branson. All right, back to work. I am coil binding some of my school books. I did not coil bind any of the kids' books. Kyla's workbook for her history is already coil bound because I had printed it off a few years ago and then we ended up not using it. But I figured out that the coil binding just makes this big, thick book, and it's hard for the kids to carry those around. It's a bit less overwhelming when I staple their work in packets instead of coil binding it. But I did coil bind a few books because this teacher's guide for the logic course is just something that I am going to use to spark conversation with my kids whenever we read through the book. So I wanted to have the entire thing together because it's easy for me to just grab it and take it to the table instead of trying to find 1 week at a time. But I have had this coil binder for several years. Several years ago, we invested in a good printer and a coil binder with coils. It was probably about 6 years ago because that's when I started using master books
realized I could get things on PDF, which is a huge blessing, and it saves me a ton of money to print my own books and then coil bind them with this coil binder. So I'll leave a link in the description if that's something you're looking for one that is similar. I'm pretty sure they don't sell the same one anymore, but I'll put a link down in the description box for one that is close to it. Thank you so much for watching today. I will see you all on the next video. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.